So when we're looking at table of values, okay, so this is a table. This is telling us what the x is. And this is kind of nice because we just came from chapter 10 where we're solving equations, okay? Except in this case, we have two variables, which is something we haven't seen yet, which is okay, all right? It's not going to really change too much about what we've learned. So what we're trying to figure out is, okay, we have our x value, we have our y value, and there's got to be some sort of pattern between the two of them. Okay, so I have to figure out what is the pattern. But I have to be very careful, all right? I'm not trying to find an individual pattern for x and an individual pattern for y, okay? That's not what I'm trying to do. I need to find the pattern, all right, that is consistent for the whole table. Okay, this whole table has to have it between the x and the y. Okay, so somehow I have to figure out, what do I do to x to get y? All right, or vice versa. Okay, so how did I go from 0 to 9? What happened? All right, so when we look at that one, well, there's a lot of ways I could go from 0 to 9. Okay, but let's look at the second one. Okay, is there any sort of pattern that you can see that's going to be the same for the top and the bottom? Okay, that I do the same thing. Well, let's practice this one. Let's go x plus 9 is going to be equal to y. Okay, so what that means is whatever's in x plus 9 is going to give me the value of y. Well, let's try that. Okay, 0 plus 9 equals 9. Okay, that one works. 2 plus 9 equals 11. That works. 7 plus 9 equals 16. 16 plus 9 equals, 25. So then 24 plus 9 must equal what? And so does this equation work? Has it worked for our whole table of values? Yes. Okay, so we add 9 to x, we get y. And that's all that I'm doing when I write this equation. Okay, we add 9 to x to get y. All right, and I was able to put that into an equation. So now that I have it in this equation, I can plug in this value of x into the equation, and I will be able to get my y. So let's look at the 24 because we're looking for a missing y. Okay, so x plus 9 equals y. Well, in this case, our x is 24. Okay, so 24 plus 9, that's going to equal y. All right, or in this case, 4 plus 9 is 13, carried the 1, and we get 33. And so our question mark then is going to be 33, and that's how we were able to complete the table of values, all right, using that pattern. All right, now the second step to using these table of values is then to graph it. All right, so we would take all this data, we would put it on that coordinate grid from our first video, and we would actually see if it created a straight line. All right, so if the coordinate grid looks like this, we have a straight line. That is a linear relation. But, for example, if we have our coordinate grid and we have this, okay, that is not a linear relation. It is not linear, meaning line. Okay, it is not a straight line. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, just to practice. So I am just taking these questions like directly off your Mathletics. So if I practice, we put our 24. All right, we found it was 32. We submit, and we got that question correctly. Awesome. Okay, let's use this new table of values here to figure it out. So we've got 0 and 0, 3 and 24. All right, so here we have a new table of values. All right, so again, we have to look and we have to see what is the relationship, okay, or the pattern, something that's consistent and happens over and over again between our x and our y, not between the x's and the x's and the y's and the y's, because here, right, I can look and go, oh, okay, well, this goes up by 3, this goes up by 3. Okay, that wouldn't work for the rest of it, but we could confuse ourselves and say that. Okay, and that is not true. We're not looking for this pattern. Okay, we are looking for the relational pattern, the one in between the x and the y. Okay, so let's look at it. How did I get from 0 to 0? Okay, well, there's a lot of ways I could have got that. So let's go to the next one. Let's see if there's something in common. How did I get from 3 to 24? Okay, well, I could have added 21. Okay, added 21. Let's try that. But let's go to the top one. 0 plus 21. Does that give me 0? No, it doesn't. So that's not possible. So that's not a correct one. Okay, so let's try something else. How else do I get from 3 to 24? Okay, maybe we can use some multiplication or division. Okay, we can use multiplication and addition and subtraction. Okay, we're just trying to find kind of a commonality. So 3 to 24, well, 3 times 8 gives me 24, correct? Okay, well, let's try it at the top. 0 times 8 is going to give me, oh, it does give me 0. Okay, that works. Let's try it for the next one. 6 times 8 is going to give me 48. That works. 8 times 8 is going to give me 18 times 8 is 4. 6 is 144. Wow, that works. Okay, perfect. So then our final thing is, well, okay, then it's got to be 55 times 8, and that's going to give me my question mark. All right, and that's going to fill in the pattern. Okay, and now, just to make sure, let's find an equation that would represent this. Okay, what's an equation to the pattern? All right, well, let's try and describe it using that x and the y. Okay, so what did we do to that x value? We have 0, and what did we do to that x value? We multiplied it by 8. All right, so we went x times 8. How did we represent, and when we were doing chapter 10, multiplying a variable times a number, we went 8 times x, right? We just put them side by side, okay, when we had a variable, and that's going to give me the y value. So 8 times 0 is 0, great. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 6 is 48. So 8 times whatever the x value is, 8 times 18 would be 144. So now we're just going to plug in that 55 here. So 8 times, I'm going to put brackets just so we separate those two numbers. 8 times x equals y. So 8 times 55 is going to give me y. Okay, well, what's 8 times 55? Let's do that math here quickly. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4. 44. So we would get 440 as our final answer for y. All right, so what we were able to do using this table of values is to identify an equation. We were able to fill it all in. We can now graph this table of values, determine a linear relation. All right, and we're able to find missing values as well. Okay, so table values is super helpful.